Thank you everyone for joining us for this session of Webinar Wednesday. Today we are going to look at our, as you see from the title, our data-centric workflows. What this is in particular is a way to have more of a data or spreadsheet view to work from rather than the map. As you know, we probably know, we do a lot of work, a lot of data work in the map, data management, inspections, that type of thing. So this is an option to add a data view to the workflow. We will be using our web form workflows that we've discussed previously. These web forms are only available through GeoSync GO Plus. They cannot be used in the older GeoSync GO Mobile or the GeoSync GO Desktop. The GeoSync GO web forms are, as we've talked before, are an enhancement to our work form solutions. It's basically a new interface. We have a lot of new options and tools, particularly in the forms themselves for types of fields, drop downs, check boxes, a lot of neat stuff. You can refer back to one of the other videos to find out more about that. We also have these web forms and the workflows that they're part of really do improve the performance of the map and the update, basically refreshing of the maps and the map update. Everything we're looking at today, including what we've looked at previously in building web forms, is managed from GeoSync GO Plus. And you can do that from the installed application or from the web browser hosted application. So your laptop, you can do it from your phone, tablet, laptop, what have you. So because we're using the actual GeoSync GO Plus, not only as our mapping and data entry point, but also as our system management and configuration, building our workflows. So moving ahead, specifically on data-centric workflows. As I mentioned, this is a way that we can actually work from a data view, like a spreadsheet style or grid style, report style interface rather than from the mapping. From here we can actually add data, we can view, search, edit, make updates. We can do all of our work from this data view. You can also switch between views. We can have multiple views of different types of data in the resources. Most of the time they will be there's a way to have related data sets, and you'll see that a little more in the example that we'll do. And as I mentioned earlier, we will use web forms as part of this. The new GeoSync GO web forms will be a part of the data view. So the example we're going to look at today, we have pump stations. We already have pump stations around our community marked. So these are sanitary or water pump stations. We have the features located with information about them, and we also want to do inspections on those. And the inspections, the pump stations themselves will be one feature with information, but the inspections are going to be something that's ongoing. So we'll have a history. We'll have another data source for our inspections where we can have multiple inspections related to and tied to the pump station itself. So in doing that, we started looking at the map and decided, we can do this from the map view. I can have my pump stations located. I can click on a pump station, start a new report, and I can do those inspections. But I don't really have a good way to go back and look at all that information together. So most of the time we'll want to look at a history of my inspections particularly and which pumps they tie to. And it may be that entering that from the map, something like that, I don't necessarily need to. Most of the time I know where the pump stations are, so I don't really have to integrate with. I don't really need the map for this inspection. I may just want to have a data view form, pick my pump by name, and start my report. Again, we want to manage all the data from manage everything from a data view. We want to add, edit, view, all that, and we really want to be able to see our stations and our inspections kind of on the same page, so we can reference what's going on. And of course, we want to see a historical view of those inspections that we've done for a particular pump station. Let's get into GeoSync GO Plus, PowerPoint out of the way here. So as you can see, we've got a map set up for our pump stations. In this case, actually, it's all that's in there is our pump stations. We're going to keep it simple. We have a pump station here for it's the CDP Engineers pump station. We have the MapSync pump station, and I think this one is the GeoSync pump station. We just named them. Those are features. And you can see if we wanted to, we can see all the information about that pump station feature itself. But to see the inspections that have been done on this, I would have to add another layer for the inspections, and there will be points stacked up. I mean, it's doable, but it's not the most efficient for this type of workflow. So we want something a little different. And in doing the inspections, I can select my pump station, report, pick pump station inspection, fill it out, and save it, just the standard inspection time form. Well, like I say, here I really want to have more of a data view of it. To do that, we will, as before, any of the setup, configuration management, anything we do with GeoSync GO Plus as far as configuring and making changes to the program, you'll need to go to your account menus. And you remember, to get to an account, you have to have administrative privileges for your sign-in before you can get to the view for all the settings. Okay, now just a little background here. We already have our data sources created. You'll see we have a pump station and a pump station inspection. We've already created those. These are empty data sources from GeoSync GO. It's a GeoSync GO data source that's already created in the cloud. Not much information there. Just I've already created the data sources for a pump station and the pump station inspections. And I have forms. I've already created forms because we've already been doing this on the map. Just want to show you how to move it to the data view. So I've got my pump station forms already built. I've added those, and all this you can get from previous webinars on how to set these data sources and web forms up. There's that one, and then we have pump station inspection. Now the pump station inspection is just for that. It's not. We'll have some basic information about the pump station that we'll pull from the feature itself, but this is individually. Each time we go and inspect this, we're going to create a record. So each month or every quarter or whenever we inspect those, we'll actually create a new record, it's not only a feature, but a new record for each event that will be tied to that pump station feature itself, the physical feature. Okay, styles and layers. Not really going to go into that. That's not critical for the resource settings. We will do some project. We will need to modify the project a little bit. The first thing we need to do is create our resources. So we need a resource, a data resource, and basically we're building a page here, a resource page that we're going to view. So we'll need to create these. First, we'll do one for. I'm going to start with my pump station inspections. If we give it a name, pump inspections. We pick the source. The source is our pump station inspections. Label field, that's the generic label field, and we would probably use the pump station name. You can use any of the fields that are in there. The form for the pump stations. This is similar to building a layer, like we would do. It's kind of similar to what we do to build a layer. You have to identify where everything is and kind of tie everything together. So what we're doing here is building a page to view. Now we'll need to know pick the form that we want to use for that resource. And in this case, we only want to do these features, the inspections, we only want to use those for existing features. So we only want to start an inspection for something existing. So we're going to pick a existing pump station and do an inspection on it. We don't want to use this for a water valve or a address point or some other feature we've had on the map. So we'll specify it to or something that doesn't exist on the map. We want to specify it to an existing feature. We're not using a template. That's something, an advanced thing we'll get into later. In this case, we will link. We're not going to link a resource right now. You'll see that when we do the pumps. So our display field, what else do we want to display besides our inspection name? In this case, we'll probably see the inspection date. We'll add that. And that's about it for the pump inspections. So we've created a page or a view for our data view for inspections. We'll save that. Now we'll go back and add another resource for our pumps themselves. So we'll say we'll call it pump station. The source, data source for pump stations is pump station. Our view, our primary label that we want to view will do pump station name again. It's kind of a common thing between them. The form for pump stations is pump station itself. In this case, this one we would not want to use existing features only, because this is the actual pump station itself. So if we needed to create a new pump station, we would want to pick a location. We wouldn't want to start from necessarily start from existing feature. Okay, in this case, we also need a linked resource. So we're going to link pump station inspections to our pump stations feature. Kind of makes sense. We want to actually tie our inspections to our pump station feature itself. So I'll pick inspections, add that, and in the display fields, what other fields do we want to display besides the pump station name? We may need to know number of pumps, or let's do location. And you can add multiples, but for now we'll just do a location. That's where we have the address or the location. So we can filter this, but again, that's one. We'll wait for a little more advanced webinar for that one. I've got the basics set up. I have my name, the source, the field that I want displayed, the form that will fill out for the data. We're not tying it to existing features necessarily. We're not using a template. We're actually linking this to our pump station inspections, our pump stations, and we've added the pump station location as an additional display field. A note on here: the display fields sometimes are, if you notice that you can't select them, that means it's probably because you haven't added any records into that data source yet. The data sources you have to add features sometimes before you can actually select that as a display field. If you remember back when you refer back to setting up the data sources and using the web forms, those webinars explain that. But basically, until you get some records in there, you will not be able to select those fields for the display fields. So you may have to come back and then modify your setup to show those when you first start. So I want to save that and then go back, and we can see all of the resources that I have identified that I want to see in my resource view or my data centric view that we're talking about. As I mentioned, if you need to go back and make changes to these pages, you can actually just select from here, and it brings you back to the same form. If we had not set our display fields, we can go back and do that after we set up one or two. So now the next thing we need to do is add the resources to our project so we can see them. So now you go to projects. We'll select our webinar project for today. We'll edit, go to resources, and we'll add our two resource views and save. Okay, so now if we go back to our map project, but now we've gone in and set up a resource view. So from our map project, say we want to look at our pump station inspections in our resource view. You go to the menu, select resources. You always have to select the project that it's tied to, how they're managed. So when I go to resources, the first view is the dashboard. That's basically all of the list of all the features and the inspections. So basically all the data sources, or actually all the records for the data sources. I mean, you can sort these by, of course, now they're set by direct creator, or by user, or by form, whatever views they're available there. But what we will look at is, in this case, we want to go to our pump station. Or the next one down is our pump station inspections. Here are all of our inspections for every. It would be for every pump station. It'd be all the inspections combined, just a list of all the inspections. But what I really want to do is look at my pump stations. This is a list of just the pump stations. If I select one of those stations and view it, we can see not only the information about the pump station itself, we can see any image that has been linked. If you want to view an image, you select it and click View. So there's the pump station diagram, or kind of a custom information page about our pump station. We can also see any inspections that are linked to that, in this case, MapSync Boulevard pump station. Down here are the inspections that have been done. I can actually click on one of those. And you can see there's the inspector's name, inspection date, and then the date that it was modified. So I can select that and view it. So there's the information about the inspection itself. And if I had taken we notice here that we actually replaced a pump during this inspection, so I actually have an image tied specifically to just that inspection. So I can view the pump replacement. That's the old pump coming out. And if I need, I can edit. If for some reason, if I forgot something in this inspection, I can go back and edit that. Brings up my form, in this case, our web form. There's my form. Save whatever I need, add another media, or whatever information I need, add more media, and save. I won't mess with this one, but so we'll close that. If I wanted to see a different pump station, I can go back, or I can just select my pump stations again and say I want to look at the GeoSync pump station, view that one. Actually, we have no reports for that one. Okay. So now if we want to add, say we want to do an inspection of the GeoSync pump station, we can go to pump stations, select the GeoSync station, view it. Here's all the information, everything is here. Any inspections that we've done previously would be here. So we can do down here under inspections, we can create a new inspection. Brings up our form. It already has the pump station name in it for us, has the location, use today's date for an inspection. That you can change if you need to. You say, well, I really did this yesterday, I'm just now reporting it. You can change that. Time of day, this is just one we pulled in where people would want to actually enter the specific time that they did the pump. Say this was done at, we'll do it in military time. Say this was done at 2 o'clock, so we'll do 1400. Again, whatever time format you want to use. Pick my inspector name. I'm doing this one. Pump reading, meter reading for pump number 1 is 5,280.05. Pump number 2 was, this is a 2564.65. Make up numbers here. Gallons pumped. We don't have a meter, so I'll just put a 0 on this one. So I'll just put a 0 on there. Condition. Let's say this one's okay. Inspection comments. We don't really have any comments. Everything was fine. We clean hatch. We cleaned the hatch because it was dirty. So, and if we want, we can actually, at this point, just add media, just like we would anywhere else. Here's our pump again. Let's just do say they all look the same. So we've added media, we filled our forms, save. So that inspection is there. Go back to pump stations. Say if we want to do another from MapSync, we'll view. And we will add another inspection. So we've already got one. We'll do another one. Do this one. After blah, blah, blah. So filled out my form, save, nope, condition, okay. So now you can see if I look back at my pump stations, here are my pump stations. When I select the MapSync station and view it, I see not only the information about the station, the images tied directly to that feature, I also see the inspections that were done on that specific feature. As far as starting, one of the capabilities of starting a new feature, we'll look at this at probably a little later date with some of the more detailed settings. you could actually use, for instance, they use another feature set, say an address layer. You have your addresses. We could actually have a capability of searching for that resource and using it to start actually searching for another resource to start your features. But anyway, the basics, you have, if you're utilizing the web forms and resources, you can set those up. There are instructions on doing that, and if you want to view those in source, set the resource, you set up your resources in GeoSync GO Plus, and you have access to this resource view, our Data Centric view. That is about all I have for today. So thank you very much.